Hello everyone and welcome back to Digit.com, a platform where we make life simple for management students worldwide. In this video on the subject of services marketing, we are going to cover the topic on understanding consumer behavior in services. The video stresses on the importance of understanding factors that affect consumer behavior in the service industry. Additionally, the types of buying behavior vis-a-vis service industry is also fleshed out in the video. The video also covers the example of streaming giant Netflix and how it is working on understanding the password sharing behavior of its consumers and how did it nail the art of binge watching. Now let's start with understanding consumer behavior in services. Process refers to the procedures, mechanisms, and flow of activities through which a service is delivered. In addition, it involves tasks, schedules, and routines by which a product or service is delivered to the customer. Services are actions performed for or with customers and typically involve a sequence of steps and activities. The combination of these steps constitute a service process which is evaluated by customers. Now let's look at an example of process, in this case the brand MasterCard. MasterCard's Smile to Pay process. MasterCard believes that touchless technology will shorten queues, speed up transaction times, improve hygiene and security in businesses worldwide. The company is pilot testing its new Smile to Pay system in Brazil, with the rationale being saving on time for customers at checkouts. The process entails customers installing an app which will take their picture and the payment information. This information will be eventually stored on the third-party provider's server. At the checkout counter, the customer's face will be matched with the already stored data, and once they find the perfect match, funds will be deducted automatically. Now moving on to how to designing a service process. Well, it is necessary to understand whether the service itself is process-dependent, equipment-based service, or services with highly intangible attributes such as banking, legal, or insurance. And to do that, we have the following pointers. First, customer participation. For most service systems, the customer is present when the service is being performed. Instead of being a passive bystander, the customer represents productive labor just at the moment it is needed. Opportunities exist for increasing productivity by shifting some of the service activities onto the customer. Furthermore, customer participation can increase the degree of customization. Involving the customers in the service process can support a competitive strategy of cost leadership with limited customization if focused on a self-serve customer market. The best example in this case would be customers punching in their own orders at the McDonald's at the digital screens. Next, degree of customer contact. Customer contact refers to the physical presence of the customer in the system. Degree of customer contact can be measured by the percentage of time the customer is in the system relative to the total service time. In high contact services, the customer determines the timing of demand and the nature of service by direct participation in the process. Customers have no direct influence on the production process of low contact system because they are not present. The next element is the degree of divergence. Now a standardized service which has low divergence is designed for high volume with a narrowly defined and focused service. The tasks are routine and require a workforce with relatively low levels of technical skill. Due to the repetitive nature of service, opportunities for substitution of automation for labor are abound, that is, use of vending machine, automatic car wash, reducing the discretion of service workers. For customized services which have high divergence, more flexibility and judgment are required to perform the service task. In addition, more information is exchanged between the customer and the service worker. These characteristics of customized services require high levels of technical and analytical skill because the service process is unprogrammed and not well defined. For example, counseling service. To achieve customer satisfaction, decision making is delegated to service workers. And keep in mind, service workers in this case are like walking billboards. Next, location of service delivery. Should the service delivery process be located at the service provider's premises, or should the process be carried out at the customer's place? These are some important questions. For some services like painting, carpet cleaning, lawn care, etc., the service has to be delivered at home. Services that generally require the customer to come to the supplier have a greater opportunity to control the delivery experience. Example, dry cleaning, legal, medical, etc. However, increasingly many services are being delivered without the customer and supplier meeting. Example, through telephone banking, ATMs, etc. And finally, complexity of service. Complexity reflects a number of steps involved in delivering the service. Whether the service is high or low in complexity and in divergence can be readily determined by looking at its blueprint. For example, a physician's service is high in both complexity and diversion, whereas hotel services are high in complexity but low in divergence. Next, What is a service blueprint? Now we all know that processes refers to procedures, mechanisms and flow activities by which the service is delivered. And it does involve procedures, tasks, schedules, mechanisms and routine. Therefore, service firms use service blueprinting to better manage the service encounter and to allow clear visualization of the service process. Now let's take a quick stab at the service blueprint components. The first component itself is a physical evidence, that is the tangibles that customers are exposed to that can influence their quality perception. The next itself is the customer action. These include all the steps that customers take part in as a part of the service delivery process. Then comes the on-stage employee action that the customer is facing. Those actions of frontline contact employees that occur as a part of a service encounter. When the customer interacts with the on-stage employee action, it is known as line of interaction. And all this happens in front stage. So these three components, that is physical evidence, customer action and on-stage employee action, comes in the front stage because it is visible to the customer. Until here is the line of visibility. Then comes the backstage employee, which are invisible contact employees below the line of visibility. Now picture yourself in a restaurant. You are the customer, you have walked into a restaurant, so whatever actions you do comes under the customer action gamut. Around you are the tables, chairs, lightings, whatever you can see and feel is the physical evidence. And the waiter coming and pouring a glass of water for you is the on-stage employee action. Now the backstage employee action in this case would be the chef who is behind the kitchen doors. He is the invisible contact employee below the line of visibility. Supporting these backstage employees are activities carried out by individuals and units within the company who are not contact employees but need to happen for the service to be delivered. Any interaction that takes place behind in the backstage between the backstage employee and the support system is known as line of internal interaction. Since this happens backstage, it falls under the gamut of backstage. So these are the final components of service blueprint. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the topic on understanding consumer behavior in services. These are the list of sources and links referred to for the content in the video. Thank you.